Hi, this is Wally. I'm excited to be here with us again today. And today we'll be looking at failing forward, paying tuition to the school of life. We are pulling from page 46 of my book, Adapt and Advance. And on page 46, that's the last page in chapter 4. And the title for chapter 4 is Failing Forward, Paying Tuition to the School of Life. And today we are looking at fail forward in 3 steps. 3 steps. Treat every setback as tuition at life's university. Treat every setback as tuition at life's university. And the story we'll be looking at today, I love stories of people that exemplify the truth of what we're talking about today, is Thomas Edison. He has this famous story of creating the light bulb. And it's really interesting, you turn on the bulb, like in this room now, there's a bulb to my left, there's another to my right, and there's another at my back. They are light bulbs. Today we use light bulb without even thinking about who made it, who invented the light bulb, what did he experience, how easy was it for him. But from his story, we're going to learn failing forward today, failing forward in 3 steps today, how he was able to use those 3 steps. And step 1 is, the story has it that he worked on the experiment like 10,000 times before he was able to come up with an experiment that led to a successful light bulb, which we all use today without even thinking about the difficulties he went through to get the light bulb done. Number 1 is Thomas Edison documented thousands of failed light bulb experiments. Document. When something does not go well, pick your pen and write it down. And write down what did not go well. Like in the book, I recommend that every week, let's take stock. When something is not going the way we want it to go, we need to write it down. What went wrong? The second thing Thomas Edison did is he noted each flaw carefully. Fine, this was an experiment, but the truth is our life is an experiment too. We are going through various forms of experiments with our destiny, with our life every day. And we want the experiment to turn out well. But at times, it doesn't turn out well. So we need to note, number 1, document what went wrong on a weekly basis. Something that did not go right this week. What was it? Number 2, Thomas Edison noted each flaw carefully. So try and look at, it's a time of reflection. Let's create time of reflection. What went wrong with my experiment? This is something we can actually do every day. Reflect. And number 3 is he reframed every failure as a lesson on what did not work. So the third step is to reflect, that Thomas Edison did was to reframe and then take the next step. The reason we could talk about him doing this 10,000 times or whatever number of times he tried before he got the light bulb right was because he was able to take the next step forward. And the next step forward was better than the previous one. So he kept improving and kept improving and kept improving. And so those are the 3 steps from the life of Thomas Edison. He committed to persistence, and he eventually produced the first commercially viable light bulb, transforming modern life. You could imagine what our life would look like if we do not have the light bulb today. And one personal example that comes to mind that I could use to explain this today is an exam I failed in 2018. We call it United States Medical Licensing Examination, Step 1, USMLE Step 1. And in 2018, when I wrote the exam, I used too many materials, like 3 different question banks and stuff like that. So I failed it, of course, amongst many other reasons. But one key thing when I decided to sit down to take stock that came up very clearly was, don't use too many question banks to prepare for an exam. Decide on one and know it thoroughly. So that was what I did the next time. I decided to use the U-World in 2019 alone without any other question bank. I disregarded all the other question banks I had and I focused on one. But the difference this time was I knew it in depth. I read for every single question I tried. I read every single, the options A, B, C, D, E. I read the details. Even when I got it right, I quickly look through and make sure I read everything that they said. So when I took the second one, I was much prepared and I passed it. So from that time till now, when I took other exams, step 2, step 3, even my pride, I always made sure to stick mainly with one question bank, mainly one question bank as much as possible. So it's important. So that was a big lesson for me, that it's better to do one and do it in depth than to do three and you do it half-heartedly in three different places. So that's the way I look at it. That's one example of I was able to fail forward in 3 steps. So it's important for us to know this, to be able to fail forward in these 3 steps. 1, take stock of what you can do, of what went wrong. 2, write down what lessons you can learn from it, the flaw from what went wrong. And number 3, commit, reframe everything and commit to one action that will move you forward to the next level. So the core content today is being pulled from page 46, the second half, actually the last paragraph of chapter 4 in my book, Adapt and Advance. Chapter 4 is Failing Forward, Paying Tuition to the School of Life. And it's written in the book. I said, first, write down in the last chapter, I said, to make this habit even more effective, follow these 3-step processes. First, write down what went wrong. So when anything goes wrong in your life, write it down. I document. I keep a journal. Like I've told us, I have 2 pages of that I write every morning when I wake up. And at times I do extra journaling by opening to another page fresh and write it. When things go wrong, I try to document it. One, journaling helps me to put out my feelings on paper. It's a way of expression. So when you journal things that go wrong, not so that you can cry about it or be sad about it, but with the intention to make sure that you are learning the lessons you need to learn so you can move forward. So I journal a lot. I encourage you to do that. Write down what went wrong, number 1. Then number 2, next, note the lessons you learned. So from every failure, I give you an example of mine. I noted that at that period. And of course, it doesn't have to be something big. Every week we have little bits of things that does not work, and let's work on it. For example, on my job every day as an attending psychiatrist, I always tell my team members, like, what can we do differently? And every single week we do something differently. We learn from the previous week whenever I get to work and I do it. I have a sheet, 2 pages, where I wrote out, for example, when I'm following up a patient, those are the things we want to ask. And the back page usually is the things we discuss every morning before we even go out to start a word round. So there's no week where there is no change, because I learn from even the successes and the failures of the last week, and then I edit something that we can do differently. What can we do differently to make our life better, to deliver better quality care without stressing ourselves more? So, but we look for creative ways to solve every problem that we encounter. So write it down, what went wrong. 2, note the lesson you learned. And then number 3, finally commit to one action you take differently. And that's what I just told us, another example from my own personal life. Committing to one thing you would do differently to help you improve. We have to keep improving processes, improving your processes for your finances personally, improving your processes, for your health, improving your processes for how you exercise. Everything needs improvement. So you've got to write down things that does not work so that we can also note the things that are working. So that's page 46 from my book, Adapt and Advance. I encourage you to get a copy if you've not been able to do that. So today we're going to do the MAPLAN principle summary. So every time I have the privilege to talk, I always go through the MAPLAN summary, which is A is meaning making. How do we make meaning? One of the ways that we say meaning is best made from challenges or difficult situations is by even taking time to have the right attitude to it. And one good right attitude we're talking about today is write it down, note what went wrong, take one action that you can do better. That's meaning making. So you can do meaning making based on having the right attitude towards the difficulties or the problem or the failures that you have in the week. Number 2 is A, which is action. We just talked about action, which I encourage everyone to take one new action. Like I just told you, the example of my USMLE one, I took action to change the way I prepare for the next one, which I passed. The same way also in my day-to-day job now, every week, like I said, at the beginning of every week, I change something to enhance the quality of care we deliver and to make sure that we are creatively, moving forward in very strategic ways. Number 3 is P, which is planning. Takes sitting down to plan and looking at things that you have to walk through at every time. Before I meet every morning when I'm working 7 a.m., usually I try to get to work like 30 minutes early. I try to look at, plan, who does what, how do we do it? What comes first? What comes second? So planning is very important, daily, weekly, and weekly is very key. Make sure you are planning the week and organizing things that will, in a way that will work for you. Then L is learning. And learning is very important. One of the things Thomas Edison said is, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that will not work. He could say this because he kept learning on how to improve things. And this is the point where I always talk about one book I will encourage you to read. And this week I'm talking about Adapt and Advance. If you have not read this book, please get it. It's still on sales, 1.99 on for the ebook that you can read on your phone. That's less than $2, less than what you might need for a cup of coffee every day, like I always say. So please get it and read it. That's the book I recommend for us this week. Learning, let's keep learning, let's keep adapting, let's keep getting better in everything that we're doing. Then the next one will be A, which is Alliance Formation. You can't do it alone. Thomas Edison definitely worked with people in his lab. He has a lab that was not just only him. So you need to work with people to bring out the best out of whatever you're doing. Your family members, could be people that you can work with and other people. Your place of work, you have to work with people to bring out the best. You can't do life alone. So Alliance Formation. And then M is mission statement. This is where I usually talk about my own mission statement, just to inspire you to have your own mission statement. I say to myself every day, at times even more than once. And my own mission statement is to fulfill God's purpose and be the best version of myself as I move from one level of good success and good value to a greater level of good success and good value per time, and to contribute positively to the lives of those that God has placed on my path. So have your own mission statement that keeps you focused on what your life is all about. And then the last one will be P, which is prayers. This is where I usually talk about one Bible verse. There's a Bible verse that says, though I fall, do not rejoice over me, because I will rise again. So if you look at that way, it could help you to know that every time you fall, it's an opportunity to rise again. Every time you fall is an opportunity to rise again. And honestly, we will all experience things that did not go the way we want it. So we could always make sure that we rise again every time. And I read another quote from Thomas Edison. He said, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time, just one more time, just one more time. And again, it's in every area of our life, trying just one more time. So it's a mindset. Tell your mind, tell yourself, I will always try one more time. I will never give up, no matter what it is. That does not mean you should not learn from your mistakes and you should keep repeating the same mistake. That's not good either. So don't keep repeating the same mistake, but make sure you tell yourself, I will learn from my last mistake and I will try one more time. And I am very confident that trying one more time with the lessons I've learned, with the things I'm reading in books, you can't be reading one book every month and not get one or two things that will help your life to improve in every area. And, you keep taking steps forward. And one of the other things that Thomas Edison said was that many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. So you might be just this close. So don't give up. Don't give up. I'm speaking to somebody today, I believe, who wants to give up on something that I believe very important to you, that you should not give up. Don't give up. You might just be this close to it. Learn the lessons, read books about it that will help you to creatively find solutions and take the next steps towards it. And the last quote I have from Thomas Edison is, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Meaning, steady, disciplined effort matters more than one big idea that just comes in a flash. Steady, disciplined effort. Steady, disciplined effort. Every day, every week, every month, every year matters most towards your goal. Be steady, be disciplined, and be committed to the mission statement for your life and for your destiny. Call to action today is get this book, read it. And for your own personal, that's for us as Adapt and Advance, but for your own personal life as a person, the call to action is sit down and look at one failure in your life, look at one lesson you learned from it today, and then take one action forward. Thank you for watching this video. So happy to have you every week, and see you at the top. Thank you. Bye.